I found out my wife was cheating on me because she accidentally airdropped me a photo meant for him. The notification pinged on my laptop while I was reviewing quarterly reports in my home office. Tuesday afternoon, 2:47 p.m. I almost ignored it. Emma was always sharing random things with me throughout the day. Memes, grocery lists, funny things our 7-year-old daughter Lily said at school. This wasn't that. The image loaded slowly, pixel by pixel, and my brain struggled to process what I was seeing. My wife, wearing lingerie I'd never seen before, red, expensive looking, posing in what appeared to be a hotel bathroom. The kind of photo that left nothing to the imagination about its purpose. My hands went numb. The coffee mug I'd been holding slipped from my fingers and shattered on the hardwood floor. 3 seconds later, my phone started buzzing. Emma calling. Then another notification. Emma would like to delete this photo from your device. I declined the deletion request. She called again. I stared at her name flashing on the screen, my heart hammering so hard I could hear it in my ears. On the 4th call, I answered. Tyler. Her voice was breathless, panicked. Tyler, I need you to delete that photo. Right now. Don't look at it. Just delete it. Too late. My voice sounded strange, hollow. Baby, I can explain. Where are you? I'm at the gym. Listen, that photo is old. It's from before we got married. I pulled up the metadata. Taken today, 2:31 p.m., 16 minutes ago. You're lying, I said it calmly, which surprised me. The photo was taken less than 20 minutes ago. And you're not at the gym, Emma. The gym doesn't have marble countertops and hotel toiletries in the background. Silence. Long enough that I thought she'd hung up. Who is he? I asked. Tyler, please, can we talk about this when I get home? I don't want to do this over the phone. Who is he? Another pause. When she spoke again, her voice had changed. Harder. The panic was gone, replaced by something that sounded almost like resignation. His name is Blake. Blake Patterson. We work together. Blake Patterson. I knew that name. Emma had mentioned him dozens of times over the past 6 months. The new senior partner at her law firm. They'd been working on a major case together, lots of late nights, weekend strategy sessions. She'd told me he was brilliant, driven, that she was learning so much from him. Apparently, she'd learned quite a bit. How long? I asked. Does it matter? How long? 4 months. 4 months. A third of a year. While I'd been getting up early with Lily, packing her lunches, helping with homework, making dinner on the nights Emma worked late. While I'd been planning our 10th anniversary trip to Cancun, scheduled for next month. While I'd been living in what I thought was a happy marriage. I want you to stay wherever you are tonight, I said. Don't come home. Tyler, Lily. I'll tell Lily you're working late, like always. Seems to be your specialty. I hung up before she could respond. For a long moment, I just sat there, staring at the shattered coffee mug on the floor. Brown liquid was seeping into the grain of the wood, probably staining it permanently. I should clean it up. That's what the rational part of my brain said. Clean up the mess. But I couldn't move. My phone buzzed again. A text this time. Emma. I'm sorry. I never meant for you to find out this way. Another buzz. Emma. I do love you. This doesn't change that. Another. Emma. Please don't do anything rash. Think about Lily. That last one snapped me out of my paralysis. Think about Lily. As if I'd been the one who'd blown up our daughter's family. As if I'd been the one sneaking off to hotel rooms in the middle of the afternoon. I forwarded the photo to my personal email. Then I took screenshots of Emma's texts, admitting to the affair. 4 months with Blake Patterson. I saved everything to 3 different cloud services. Then I opened my laptop and started researching divorce attorneys in Austin, Texas. I'm a financial analyst. My entire career is built on gathering data, identifying patterns, making informed decisions based on evidence. The emotional part of me wanted to scream, throw things, drive to Emma's law firm and confront this Blake Patterson in front of everyone. But the analytical part, the part that had always served me well, knew that emotions were the enemy right now. I needed to be smart, strategic. Emma was a lawyer and a good one. If this was going to get ugly, and it was definitely going to get ugly, I needed to be 3 steps ahead. By the time I heard the school bus pull up outside at 3:45, I'd compiled a list of the top 5 divorce attorneys in Austin, all specializing in high-asset cases and custody disputes. I'd also started a detailed timeline of Emma's behavior over the past 4 months, noting every late night, every weekend work session, every business trip. The patterns were obvious now. How had I missed them? "Daddy!" Lily burst through the front door, her backpack bouncing against her shoulders. "Guess what happened at school today?" I closed my laptop and plastered on a smile. Whatever was happening between Emma and me, Lily didn't deserve to be caught in the middle of it. Not yet. "What happened, sweetheart?" "We got to dissect owl pellets in science. I found a whole mouse skull in mine. It was so cool." She launched into an enthusiastic description of her day, while I nodded and made appropriate sounds of interest. Inside, I felt like I was splitting in two. One part of me functioning on autopilot, being dad, while the other part was spiraling through 1,000 thoughts at once. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Probably Emma again. I ignored it and focused on my daughter. The school bus hissed to a stop outside, and I heard Lily's voice chattering with the driver. I closed my laptop and slid my phone into my pocket, the weight of it suddenly heavier than it should be. Evidence, timeline, attorney contacts. All of it waiting there while my daughter bounded up the walkway with her backpack bouncing. "Daddy!" She burst through the door, all gap-toothed smile and tangled braids. "We made papier-mâché planets today and mine is Saturn with real rings made from cardboard." "That's amazing, sweetheart." I pulled her into a hug, breathing in the kid smell of her. Glue stick and playground mulch and strawberry shampoo. Normal. I needed to keep everything normal for her. "Where's Mommy?" "She had to work late." The lie came easier than it should have. "How about we make mac and cheese for dinner?" "The kind from the box or the fancy kind you make?" "Box kind. It's a Tuesday." She accepted this without question, already dumping her backpack on the floor and pulling out a crumpled permission slip. "We're going to the Science Museum next week. You have to sign this." I took the form, scanned it without really reading it, and scrawled my signature. Field trip to the Science Museum. Emma and I had taken Lily there last summer, back when I thought we were happy. Back when working late with Blake on the Hutchinson case meant actual work. My phone buzzed. "Emma, I'm coming home. We need to talk about this like adults." I typed back, "No, stay wherever you are." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "Tyler, please. I made a mistake. We can fix this." 4 months isn't a mistake. It's a choice. You made it every day for 120 days. The analyst in me couldn't help the calculation. 120 days of lies. How many times had she come home and kissed me hello with his taste still in her mouth? How many nights had she rolled over in our bed, pretending to be asleep, probably texting him? "I'm still coming home. Lily needs her mother." I looked at Lily, now sprawled on the living room floor with her homework. She was drawing something. Stick figures holding hands. A family. "If you come here tonight, I will tell her everything, every detail. Is that what you want?" The 3 dots stayed visible for a full minute. "You wouldn't do that to her." "Try me." The dots disappeared. No response. Lily looked up from her drawing. "Can we FaceTime Mommy before bed?" "Maybe. She's really busy tonight." I moved to the kitchen, pulled out the box of mac and cheese. My hands were steady as I filled the pot with water, set it on the stove. Muscle memory taking over while my mind cataloged everything I needed to do. Bank accounts. I needed to check our joint accounts, see if there had been any unusual charges. Hotels. Restaurants. Gifts I didn't know about. Insurance policies. Life insurance. Health insurance. I needed copies of everything. Her work schedule. I needed to document every late night and business trip for the past 4 months. Daddy, the water's boiling over. I jerked back to the present. Foam cascaded down the sides of the pot onto the stove, hissing and spitting. I grabbed the handle, burned my palm, swore under my breath. You said a bad word. Sorry, baby, the pot was hot. I ran cold water over my hand, dumped the pasta in, forced myself to focus. Dinner, homework, bath time, bedtime story. I could do this. I'd done it 100 times when Emma worked late. Except she hadn't been working late, had she? We ate at the kitchen table, Lily chattering about her friend Madison's birthday party on Saturday. And could she please get her a Lego set, because Madison really wanted one. I made appropriate noises, asked follow-up questions, kept my face neutral even as my phone buzzed repeatedly in my pocket. I didn't check it until Lily was in the bath, playing with her rubber ducks and singing something off-key. Then I pulled it out. 7 messages from Emma. I scrolled through them. Tyler, I love you. I love our family. This thing with Blake, it just happened. I never meant for it to go this far. Please don't make any decisions tonight. We need to talk face to face. I'm staying at the Marriott downtown, room 847, if you change your mind. Lily needs both of us. Think about what's best for her. I'll give you tonight, but we will talk tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry. She was sorry. I stared at the word until it stopped meaning anything. My phone buzzed again, but this time it wasn't Emma. Unknown number. Is this Tyler Brennan? I frowned. Who is this? Jason Webb. I'm a partner at Webb & Associates. Your wife Emma works with my colleague Blake Patterson. My pulse kicked up. I typed carefully. What do you want? To talk. Not about what you think. Can you call me? He included a number. I glanced toward the bathroom. Lily was still singing, water splashing. I stepped into my office and closed the door, then dialed. He picked up on the first ring. Mr. Brennan, thank you for calling. How did you get my number? From Emma's emergency contact form. Look, I'll be direct. Blake Patterson came to me this afternoon, very agitated. He said Emma's husband found out about their relationship and he's worried about fallout at the firm. I said nothing. I want you to know that the firm had no knowledge of this relationship. We have strict policies against partners engaging in affairs with married colleagues. If we had known, you're calling to cover your firm's liability. A pause. I'm calling because Blake Patterson is being terminated, effective immediately. And I wanted you to know that before you heard it from Emma. She'll probably try to use his firing as leverage, claim he took advantage of her position, that she was coerced. I'm telling you now, that's not what happened. We have emails, texts, hotel receipts on his corporate card that he tried to expense as client entertainment. Hotel receipts? I closed my eyes. How many? I'm sorry? How many hotels? Mr. Brennan, I don't think… How many? He sighed. 14 separate occasions over the past 4 months. Always the same hotel. The Ritz-Carlton on Congress Avenue. Always the same room type. Junior suite. 14 times. I'd calculated 120 days, but I hadn't let myself think about the actual encounters. How many afternoons had she texted me that she was working late while she was in a hotel bed with him? Why are you telling me this? Because Emma is a good attorney, and she's going to spin this. She's probably already started, and I believe in the truth. He paused. Also, frankly, because Blake Patterson has caused enough damage to this firm. If this becomes public, if there's litigation, I want it clear that we acted swiftly and appropriately once we learned of the affair. You want me to sign something? No. I want to offer you copies of the documentation we've compiled. Emails, calendar appointments, hotel receipts, all of it. What you do with that information is up to you. I should have felt something. Vindication, maybe, or satisfaction that Blake was losing his job. Instead, I just felt tired. Send it to my email, tyler.brennan@gmail.com. I'll have it to you within the hour. And Mr. Brennan? I am sorry, for what it's worth. He hung up. I stood there in my office, phone in hand, listening to Lily sing in the bathroom. She'd moved on to the alphabet song, getting the letters wrong in the middle the way she always did. LMNOQ. My email pinged. Jason Webb worked fast. The subject line read, Blake Patterson, documentation. I opened it. 17 attachments, spreadsheets, PDFs, image files. I clicked on the first one, a hotel receipt from the Ritz-Carlton, dated 3 months ago. Room 1247, junior suite, champagne service, 2 bathrobes, late checkout. The clerk had written a note at the bottom. Thank you for choosing the Ritz-Carlton. We hope you and your guest enjoyed your stay. Your guest, not your wife. Your guest. I opened the next file, an email from Blake to Emma. Same time Thursday. I'll bring the wine you like. Emma's response. Can't wait. Tyler has a late meeting, so I have until 9. I'd had a late meeting that Thursday, a presentation for a new client that ran until 8:30. I'd come home to find Emma already in bed, exhausted from depositions all day. Daddy, I'm ready for my towel. I closed the laptop and went to get my daughter out of the bath. I closed the laptop, the documentation from Jason Webb still burning in my mind. 14 hotel visits, 4 months, every Tuesday and Thursday when she claimed she had late meetings. The numbers kept running through my head like a spreadsheet I couldn't close. Daddy? Lily appeared in the doorway, hair still damp from her bath, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Can you read me 2 stories tonight? Sure, sweetheart. I stood, forcing my face into something approximating normal. Go pick them out. She scampered off and I followed her to her room, the hallway seeming longer than usual. Everything in the house looked different now. The family photos on the wall, lies, the vacation souvenirs on the bookshelf, props in a performance I hadn't known I was giving. Lily had selected her current favorites, something about a dragon who was afraid of heights and a princess who solved mysteries. I sat on the edge of her bed, the mattress dipping under my weight, and opened the first book. My voice sounded mechanical even to my own ears, but Lily didn't seem to notice. She snuggled against my side, warm and trusting, and I had to pause between pages to steady my breathing. Mommy's working really late tonight, Lily observed when I finished the dragon story. Yeah, big case. She works a lot. I started the second book, about the princess investigating missing jewels from the royal treasury. The irony wasn't lost on me. When I finished, Lily was already drowsy. I tucked the blanket around her shoulders, kissed her forehead. Love you, Lil. Love you too, Daddy. I left her door cracked open, the nightlight casting its familiar glow into the hallway, and returned downstairs. The house felt enormous and empty. I'd lived here for 6 years. We'd bought it when Emma made partner, celebrated with champagne in the empty living room before the furniture arrived. How much of it had been real? My phone buzzed. Emma. Please, we need to talk about this. I made a mistake, a terrible mistake, but we have Lily to think about. I stared at the message. The same Emma who'd typed that had been in hotel rooms with Blake Patterson 14 times had probably sent him messages just like this. Sweet, apologetic, strategic. My thumbs moved across the screen. Your attorney can talk to my attorney. That's the only conversation happening. 3 dots appeared immediately, disappeared, appeared again. You haven't even hired an attorney yet. Tyler, please. Don't make decisions when you're this angry. I almost laughed. She thought I was acting impulsively. She thought rage was driving me. Already have one. You'll hear from them tomorrow. I wasn't lying. I'd narrowed my list to 3 firms, all of them in Austin, all of them with strong track records in high-conflict custody cases. I'd make calls first thing in the morning. The dots appeared and disappeared twice more, but no message came through. I poured myself 2 fingers of whiskey from the bottle we kept for guests, then put it back without drinking. I needed to think clearly. The documentation from Jason Webb was comprehensive, but I needed to understand what I was actually looking at. I opened the laptop again and pulled up the files. The spreadsheet listed every hotel visit with dates, times, and costs. The Ritz-Carlton, always the same location downtown. Room charges ranging from $300 to $500. Champagne service on 6 occasions. Late checkout fees on 4. All of it billed to the firm's corporate account, coded as client entertainment. The emails were worse. Not because they were explicit, they weren't, mostly, but because they were familiar. The same tone Emma used with me. Inside jokes, pet names, plans for a weekend trip to San Antonio that I now realized had been disguised as a legal conference she'd attended alone in March. I'd stayed home with Lily that weekend, made pancakes, took her to the park, while Emma was 3 hours away with Blake Patterson. One email from Blake, dated 6 weeks ago. Your husband suspect anything? Emma's response. Tyler? No. He's completely absorbed in his work. Barely notices when I'm home or not. I read it 3 times. Then I saved it to a separate folder I titled Custody Evidence. Because that was what this came down to. Not the affair itself. Texas was a no-fault divorce state. The infidelity wouldn't matter much in property division. But custody? Emma's judgment, her priorities, her willingness to lie and compartmentalize? That mattered. I spent 2 hours going through every document, making notes, cross-referencing dates with my own calendar, building a timeline. There were patterns. The Tuesday and Thursday late meetings were consistent. But there were also lunch visits, quickie sessions probably, squeezed between court appearances and depositions. One email exchange made my stomach turn. Emma to Blake. Can't do Thursday. Tyler's taking Lily to her friend's birthday party and I promised I'd go. Blake's response. Family first. I get it. Friday instead? Emma. Perfect. Tell me again what you want to do to me. I closed the laptop. The whiskey was still sitting on the counter. I picked it up, looked at it, set it back down. My phone rang. Unknown number, but the area code was Austin. Tyler Brennan. Mr. Brennan, this is Nicole Winters. I'm an attorney with Winters & Associates. Jason Webb suggested I might be hearing from you. I checked my watch. 9:47 p.m. You work late. Jason mentioned your situation was time-sensitive. I wanted to reach out tonight if you're available to talk. I moved to my office, closed the door. I'm available. Good. First, I want to be clear about something. Jason Webb sent you documentation, correct? Yes. That documentation was provided to you as a private citizen, not as part of any legal discovery process. It's admissible, but we need to be strategic about how and when we use it. Do you understand? I understand. Second question. Your wife is an attorney. She's going to come at this hard, and she's going to use every advantage she has. Are you prepared for that? I thought about Emma's message. Don't make decisions when you're this angry. I'm prepared. Okay, here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow morning, you're going to call in sick to work. You're going to come to my office at 9 a.m. We're going to spend 3 hours going through everything. The documentation, your financial situation, your daughter's routine, your wife's work schedule, all of it. Then we're going to file. File what? Divorce petition and temporary orders. We're going to ask for temporary primary custody, exclusive use of the marital residence, and a restraining order preventing her from removing Lily from the state. We're going to move fast, and we're going to move hard, before she has time to construct a narrative. My throat felt tight. She's Lily's mother. And you're Lily's father. A father who's been the primary caregiver while his wife conducted an affair with a senior partner at her firm, using company resources to do it. A father who has documentation of 14 hotel visits over 4 months. A father whose wife was so careless she accidentally sent him photographic evidence of her infidelity. Nicole Winters paused. Mr. Brennan, I'm not going to tell you this is the best documentation I've ever seen because that would be patronizing. But it's thorough, it's damning, and if we use it correctly, you're going to get what you want. I want my daughter. Then be at my office at 9 a.m. Bring the documentation, bring your last 2 years of tax returns, and bring a list of anyone who can testify about your involvement in Lily's daily care. Teachers, coaches, other parents, people who've seen you show up. Okay. One more thing. Your wife is going to call you tonight, probably multiple times. She's going to want to talk, to explain, to negotiate. Don't. Every conversation you have with her right now is a chance for her to gather information about your strategy or to manipulate you into a position that favors her. Communicate only through text, keep it brief, and save everything. Understood. Get some sleep, Mr. Brennan. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. She hung up. I sat in my office, the house silent around me, and looked at the framed photo on my desk. The 3 of us at the beach last summer. Lily building a sandcastle. Emma laughing, her arm around my waist. I turned it face down. Then I went upstairs to check on Lily one more time before bed. The hotel receipt is still in my hand when I wake up Wednesday morning. I must have fallen asleep at my desk, the crumpled paper stuck to my palm with dried sweat. 3:47 a.m. The house is silent except for the heating system cycling on. I smooth the receipt flat against the desk surface. The Ritz-Carlton, Austin. Room 1847. February 14th. Valentine's Day, which I'd spent working late on the Meridian portfolio while Emma claimed she was at a firm retreat. One night, premium king suite. Champagne service, $180. Room service dinner for 2, $267. Late checkout fee, $150. At the bottom, in looping handwriting, thank you for celebrating with us. We hope you and your partner enjoyed your romantic evening. Ashley. The clerk had drawn a little heart next to the signature. I'd found it yesterday afternoon while going through the evidence Jason Webb sent over. It had been tucked into a folder of expense reports. Emma had actually submitted this for reimbursement as a client development dinner. The firm had rejected it, noting that hotel room charges weren't eligible expenses. She'd paid it herself, $857.32 on our joint credit card, categorized in our budget spreadsheet as professional development. I remember that charge. I remember seeing it and thinking nothing of it. My phone buzzes. Nicole Winters, despite the ungodly hour. Filing opens at 8 a.m. I'll be there at 7:45. Everything is ready. Get some rest if you can. Rest. Right. I pull up our credit card statements instead, searching for the Ritz-Carlton. There it is. February 14th, $847.32. I scroll back further. January 23rd, $763.19. January 9th, $891.44. December 18th, $104.67. Every 2 weeks, like clockwork. Sometimes more. I open a new spreadsheet and start logging them, cross-referencing with Jason's documentation. 14 hotel visits over 4 months. $11,847.83 total. $11,000 of our money spent on hotel rooms where my wife screwed her boss. The analytical part of my brain, the part that's kept me functional through this, notes that this is actually useful. Financial infidelity, commingling of marital assets for extramarital affairs. Nicole will love this. The rest of me wants to put my fist through the monitor. I don't. Instead, I create a new folder, Financial Evidence, Marital Funds Misappropriation. I export the spreadsheet, screenshot every credit card charge, and email the package to Nicole with the subject line, Additional documentation, marital funds used for affair. Her response comes back in under a minute. Perfect. This strengthens our position significantly. See you in a few hours. It's 4:15 a.m. now. In less than 4 hours, I'll be sitting in a courthouse while Nicole files for divorce and requests temporary primary custody of Lily. Emma doesn't know it's coming. She thinks she has time to strategize, to construct her defense, to figure out how to spin this. She doesn't. I should feel something about that. Guilt, maybe, or satisfaction. I feel nothing. Just the steady tick of tasks being completed, evidence being organized, strategy being executed. My phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Tyler Brennan? A woman's voice, professional, but tense. Speaking. This is Ashley Moreno from the Ritz-Carlton, Austin. I'm the night manager. I'm calling because we've had an incident involving your credit card. I sit up straighter. What kind of incident? A charge was attempted on your card about an hour ago. Room 1847, the same room number from several previous bookings. Our system flagged it because the card was reported for fraudulent activity monitoring. The person attempting to use it became agitated when we declined the charge. Emma. Emma tried to book the room tonight. Who attempted the charge? I ask, though I already know. I can't disclose that information, sir, but I wanted to alert you to potential unauthorized use of your card. You may want to contact your credit card company. The card is joint, I say. My wife has equal access to it. A pause. I see. In that case, there's no fraud. But she hesitates. Sir, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I was the desk clerk who checked in your wife and her companion on multiple occasions. I wrote that note on the Valentine's Day receipt. When I saw the name on tonight's declined charge, I thought you should know that she was here, with the same man, attempting to book the same room. My hand tightens on the phone. She's there now? She left about 20 minutes ago, very upset about the declined charge. I don't know what I thought. But if someone was using my card to cheat on me, I'd want to know. Thank you, I manage. I appreciate the call. I'm sorry, she says quietly, and hangs up. I pull up our credit card account. Sure enough, there's a pending charge from 2:47 a.m., declined. I click through to the card settings and see that our credit limit has been maxed out. Emma's been using it heavily over the past week. Clothes, dinners, a $600 charge at a liquor store yesterday afternoon. She's spiraling. I open my email and forward Ashley's information to Nicole. Hotel night manager confirms wife attempted to book a fair hotel room at 2:47 a.m. this morning, 3 hours ago. Charge declined due to maxed credit limit. Wife left upset. Manager willing to provide testimony regarding multiple previous visits with affair partner. I add, requesting emergency hearing for temporary restraining order on all joint financial accounts. Nicole's response? On it. This demonstrates ongoing affair and financial irresponsibility. Judges don't like spouses draining accounts during divorce proceedings. I'll have the restraining order ready when we file this morning. The sky is starting to lighten outside my office window. Somewhere in this city, Emma is awake too. Maybe she's with Blake, though Jason said he was terminated. Maybe she's alone in some other hotel room, paid for with cash or a credit card I don't know about. Maybe she's sitting in her car trying to figure out what to do next. I don't care. That's the strangest part. 3 days ago, I would have cared. 3 days ago, I would have been devastated by the image of my wife desperate and alone at 3 a.m. 3 days ago, I loved her. Now she's just a problem to be solved, a liability to be managed, an opponent to be defeated. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk, please. I know you're awake. Emma. She must have gotten a new phone or she's texting from someone else's. I don't respond. Another text. Tyler, please. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. We can fix this. Think about Lily. There it is again. Think about Lily. As if I've thought about anything else. As if every decision I've made hasn't been centered on protecting my daughter from the fallout of her mother's choices. I am thinking about Lily, I type back. That's why I'm documenting everything. That's why I'm making sure she has stability. That's why I'm done with you. 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. You can't take her from me. I'm her mother. You took yourself from her when you spent 4 months lying to both of us. I respond. You took yourself from her when you spent $12,000 of our money on hotel rooms. You took yourself from her when you tried to book another room 3 hours ago instead of coming home to your family. The dots stop. I wait, but no response comes. At 6 a.m., I hear Lily's door open. Her small feet pad down the hallway to my office. Daddy? She's holding her stuffed rabbit, hair sticking up in every direction. Where's Mommy? I pull her onto my lap, and she curls against my chest like she used to when she was smaller. Mommy had to work, sweetheart. But I'm here. How about we make pancakes? The special ones with chocolate chips? Absolutely. She wraps her arms around my neck, and I hold her tight, breathing in the scent of her strawberry shampoo. This is what matters. This right here. Everything else is just strategy. At 7:30 a.m., my phone buzzes with a text from Nicole. Heading to the courthouse now. Stay strong. By noon, everything will be in motion. I make Lily her pancakes. I help her get ready for school. I pack her lunch with extra cookies because she's going to need them today, even though she doesn't know it yet. At 7:52 a.m., I get the notification. Divorce petition filed. Temporary custody hearing scheduled for Friday at 2 p.m. Emma's phone, her real number, starts ringing at 7:53 a.m. I don't answer. She's just received the papers. The hotel receipt was still in my hand when I walked into Nicole's office 3 days later. I'd found it that morning while Emma was in the shower, crumpled at the bottom of her gym bag. The same gym bag she'd carried every Tuesday and Thursday for 4 months, claiming she was taking better care of herself. The Marriott downtown. Room 847. Date, January 23rd. The date she'd told me she was spending the afternoon at the spa with her college roommate. Champagne service, 85 was itemized separately. At the bottom, in looping handwriting, thank you for choosing us. We hope the couple enjoyed their stay. Melissa. The couple. Nicole looked up from the divorce documents spread across her conference table. You found something else. I smoothed the receipt flat against the polished wood. January 23rd. She told me she was at the spa, showed me the gift certificate her friend supposedly bought her for Christmas. Nicole photographed the receipt with her phone, then slid it into an evidence folder already thick with Jason Webb's documentation. This predates the earliest hotel charge Webb provided by 3 weeks. They were together longer than 4 months. 5, at least. My voice sounded distant, clinical. Maybe 6. I went back through our credit card statements last night. There's a charge from the Westin in December. December 14th. She said she was shopping for Lily's Christmas presents and traffic was terrible, so she grabbed dinner downtown rather than drive home in rush hour. Do you have that statement? I forwarded it to you at 6 this morning. Nicole made a note. The pattern of deception is extensive, premeditated, consistent, financially documented. This strengthens our custody argument significantly. Through the window behind her, downtown Austin stretched toward the hill country, glass towers reflecting the late morning sun. Somewhere in one of those buildings, Emma was sitting in her office, former office technically, since Jason Webb had confirmed her administrative leave pending the firm's internal investigation. My phone buzzed. Emma's name lit the screen. She's been calling every hour since you filed, Nicole observed. I know. You haven't answered. No. The phone went silent. 30 seconds later, a text arrived. Tyler, please. We need to talk about Lily. She's asking questions. I showed Nicole the screen. Don't respond yet, she said. What kind of questions? Lily asked me yesterday why Mommy's been crying, why she's sleeping in the guest room. I set the phone face down on the table. I told her Mommy and Daddy were having some grown-up problems we needed to work through, and that both of us loved her very much. That's appropriate. Nicole reviewed her notes. The temporary custody order gives you primary physical custody pending the hearing. Emma has supervised visitation Wednesday and Saturday afternoons, 3 hours each. Has she exercised those rights? She came Wednesday, stayed in the living room while Lily showed her a school project. Left after 90 minutes. How did Lily respond? Confused. She kept asking why Mommy couldn't stay for dinner. The memory of my daughter's face, that bewildered hurt, made my jaw tighten. I told her Mommy had work to finish. Nicole's expression softened slightly. You're protecting her. That's good. But eventually, I know. I cut her off before she could finish. Eventually, Lily needs to understand why her parents aren't together anymore. But she's 7. She doesn't need to know her mother was sleeping with a colleague while I was helping her with math homework. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Emma. I made a mistake, a terrible mistake. But I'm still her mother. Don't do this. I turned the phone off completely. Nicole watched me pocket it. The preliminary hearing is scheduled for April 19th, 2 weeks from today. Judge Keller will review the temporary orders and hear arguments for permanent custody arrangements. Emma's attorney will push for joint custody, 50-50 time split. Based on what? Her stellar judgment? Her commitment to family? Based on the legal presumption that children benefit from relationships with both parents unless one parent poses a danger or demonstrates unfitness. Nicole leaned forward. Which is why this documentation matters. We're not arguing she's a danger. We're arguing that her pattern of deception, financial irresponsibility with marital assets, and willingness to prioritize an affair over family stability demonstrates compromised judgment regarding Lily's best interests. $11,000 on hotel rooms. The number still felt surreal. While I was putting money into Lily's college fund. The financial irresponsibility angle is strong, Nicole agreed. But Tyler, I need you to prepare for the possibility that Judge Keller awards joint custody anyway. Texas family courts favor shared parenting arrangements. Unless we can demonstrate actual harm to Lily. She tried to book that hotel room again. I pulled up the credit card alert on my laptop, turned it so Nicole could see. 2:47 a.m., the night before you filed. She knew I'd discovered the affair, knew her career was imploding, and she tried to book room 847 at the Marriott for the following weekend. Nicole studied the declined transaction alert. The card was already frozen by then, because I'd called the bank that afternoon and had her removed as an authorized user. I closed the laptop. But she tried. That's what matters. Her world was burning down and she was still trying to arrange another rendezvous. With Patterson? Who else? Nicole made another note. Jason Webb indicated Patterson was terminated. Do we know if they're still in contact? I have no idea. Emma's blocked on my phone except for emergency calls about Lily. Her email goes to a folder I check once daily for legal communications. I don't know what she does with her time anymore. I paused. I don't want to know. The conference room went quiet except for the muted hum of the building's ventilation system. Through the window, a plane traced a thin contrail across the cloudless sky. Nicole broke the silence. There's something else we need to discuss. Emma's attorney filed a response yesterday afternoon. They're claiming the affair was a symptom of marital breakdown, not the cause. They're arguing you were emotionally distant, overly focused on work, that Emma felt neglected and made a mistake during a vulnerable period. The words landed like a physical blow. Emotionally distant. It's a standard defense strategy. Shift partial blame, create a narrative where both parties contributed to the marriage's failure. I packed Lily's lunches every morning, coached her soccer team, planned our anniversary trip to Colorado. My hands were flat on the table, fingers spread. I was home every night by 6. We had dinner together as a family. I asked Emma about her day, listened when she talked about cases, supported her career. I know. Emotionally distant. The phrase tasted bitter. That's what she's going with. It's what her attorney is going with, Nicole corrected. Whether Emma believes it or is just following legal strategy, we don't know. But we need to counter it. I'll need you to document your involvement in Lily's life and the household. School emails, coaching schedules, receipts for family activities. Anything that demonstrates active, engaged parenting and partnership. I already had a folder prepared. I'd started compiling it the night I discovered the airdrop, some instinct telling me I'd need to prove what should have been obvious. I'll send it today. Nicole checked her watch. The discovery deadline is May 1st. Emma's attorney will request financial records, communications, potentially character witnesses. They may try to depose your colleagues, ask about your work hours and stress levels, build their narrative that you were absent even when present. Let them. The numbness that had settled over me since Tuesday afternoon was hardening into something colder, more resolved. My colleagues know I left the office at 5:30 every day to have dinner with my family. They know I turned down the Denver promotion last year because Emma's career was established here and we didn't want to uproot Lily. Good. We'll use that. Nicole gathered her documents. One more thing. Emma's attorney is pushing for mediation before the preliminary hearing. They want to negotiate custody arrangements privately rather than have a judge impose them. No. Tyler. No. I stood, collected my laptop. She had 4 months, 5 months, to negotiate, to be honest, to choose her family. She chose hotel rooms and champagne service instead. We're doing this in court, with a judge, on the record. Nicole didn't argue. She walked me to the elevator, the evidence folder tucked under her arm. Get me that documentation by tomorrow, she said as the doors opened. And Tyler, take care of yourself. Lily needs you steady. I nodded and stepped into the elevator. As the doors closed, I pulled out my phone and powered it back on. 14 missed calls from Emma. 6 new text messages. I deleted them all without reading and called the one person who mattered. Hi, sweetie, I said when Lily answered. How was school? The coffee maker gurgled behind me as I stared at the email from Emma's law firm. Not her firm anymore. The subject line made that clear. Final paycheck and Cobra information. I clicked it open. Ms. Brennan, per our conversation on April 14th, your employment with Whitfield and Associates has been terminated effective immediately. Your final paycheck, less applicable deductions, has been direct deposited. Please find attached information regarding continuation of health benefits under Cobra. April 14th. 3 days ago. She'd been fired. I sat back, processing. Jason Webb had mentioned an internal investigation. Apparently, it had concluded. The firm that had been Emma's entire professional identity for 6 years had cut her loose. My phone buzzed. Nicole Winters. Tyler, we need to talk about something that came up in Emma's financial disclosures. I pulled the phone away from my ear, putting her on speaker. What kind of something? She listed her employment status as on leave. But I just received notice from opposing counsel that she's actually been terminated. That's a material misrepresentation in a sworn financial affidavit. I'm looking at the termination email right now, I said. It came through her personal account, dated April 14th. Nicole was quiet for a moment. She lied under oath about her employment status. That's not going to play well in front of Judge Carmichael. I'm filing an emergency motion to address this before the custody hearing. What does this mean practically? It means her income just dropped to zero, which she'll use to argue she can't afford separate housing and needs to return to the marital residence. It also means she's desperate, which makes people unpredictable. Nicole paused. Has she tried to contact you? 43 calls since she got the papers. I haven't answered any of them. Good. Keep it that way. I'll have the motion filed by end of business today. After we hung up, I scrolled through Emma's recent calls. The timestamps told a story. 11:47 p.m., 1:23 a.m., 3:14 a.m., 6:02 a.m. She wasn't sleeping, neither was I really. But I had Lily to focus on. Emma had… What? Blake was fired. She was fired. The affair that had cost her everything was over, and she had nothing to show for it except legal bills she couldn't pay. I should have felt satisfaction. Instead, I felt nothing. The doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Emma's mother, Patricia. I closed my eyes briefly, then opened the door. Tyler. Patricia's voice was carefully neutral. May I come in? I stepped aside. Patricia had always been cordial to me, if somewhat distant. She settled onto the couch with the careful posture of someone preparing for an unpleasant conversation. Emma told me what happened, she said. All of it. Did she? She made a terrible mistake. She knows that. She's destroyed Tyler. She's lost her job, her marriage, possibly her daughter. She made choices, I said quietly. Multiple choices. Over months. Patricia's jaw tightened. I'm not here to defend what she did. I'm here because Lily needs both her parents functional, and right now Emma is falling apart. Where is she staying? With me. She's been on my couch for 4 days. She's not eating. She's barely sleeping. Yesterday, I found her sitting in her car outside your house at 2 in the morning. That explained the 1:23 a.m. call. Patricia, I understand this is hard for you. But Emma's emotional state isn't my responsibility anymore. My responsibility is making sure Lily is protected and stable during this transition. Lily needs her mother. Lily will have her mother. Supervised visitation, structured time, appropriate boundaries. What Lily doesn't need is to be exposed to whatever crisis Emma is having. Patricia stood. You're being cruel. I'm being careful. There's a difference. After she left, I checked the security camera footage. Patricia was right. Emma's car had been parked across the street at 1:47 a.m. on April 16th. The timestamp showed her sitting in the driver's seat for 43 minutes before driving away. I forwarded the footage to Nicole with a brief note. FYI, this concerns me. Her response came within minutes. Documenting. This supports our position that she's unstable. Keep all doors locked. Consider a restraining order if this continues. I walked upstairs to Lily's room. She was arranging her stuffed animals in some elaborate pattern only she understood. Hey, Bug. How was school? Good. We're learning about fractions. Mrs. Anderson says I'm really good at them. That's because you're brilliant, she beamed. Daddy, when is Mommy coming home? The question I'd been dreading. I sat on the edge of her bed. Mommy and I are working through some grown-up stuff right now. She's staying with Grandma Patricia for a little while. Is she sick? No, sweetie. Sometimes adults need space to figure things out. But you'll still see Mommy. That's not changing. Okay. She returned to her stuffed animals, apparently satisfied. Kids were resilient in ways that broke my heart. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Tyler, please, just listen. Emma's voice was raw, desperate. I hung up. She called back immediately. I blocked the number. 2 minutes later, another unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. I know you don't want to talk to me, I understand, but I need you to know. I lost everything. My job, my career, everything I worked for. Blake won't return my calls. His wife is threatening to sue me. I have nothing left except Lily, and you're trying to take her away from me. I deleted it. Nicole called again. Tyler, I need to give you a heads up. Emma's attorney filed a counter motion claiming financial hardship and requesting she be allowed to return to the marital residence pending the hearing. Absolutely not. I know, I'm opposing it. But Judge Carmichael might order you to provide temporary spousal support given the income disparity. She spent $12,000 of marital funds on hotel rooms for her affair. Which we'll argue. But right now, on paper, you're employed and she's not. The law doesn't care why she's unemployed. I pressed my fingers against my temples. How much are we talking? Could be anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 a month, temporary, until the divorce is finalized. So I get to fund her life while she tries to take my daughter. I'm doing everything I can to minimize it, but you need to be prepared for that possibility. After we hung up, I pulled up my banking app. The joint account Emma and I had shared showed a new transaction. Attempted charge for $347.82 at the Driscoll Hotel. Declined due to insufficient funds. Yesterday, 3:47 p.m. She'd tried to book a room at the Affair Hotel again. The same hotel where she'd spent our anniversary weekend with Blake. Except this time, the card was declined because I'd moved all the money to a separate account. I took a screenshot and forwarded it to Nicole. More evidence of instability. The preliminary hearing was in 2 days. I had documentation that would bury Emma's credibility. The hotel receipts, the firm's termination letter, the false financial disclosure, the security footage of her parked outside our house at 2 a.m., the attempted hotel charge. Everything pointed to someone spiraling out of control. But sitting in Lily's room, listening to her hum while she played, I felt the weight of what was coming. This wasn't just legal strategy anymore. This was the complete demolition of the life we'd built, the family Lily thought she had. Emma had started it. Emma had made the choices that led here. But I was the one who would have to explain it to our daughter someday. My phone lit up with another unknown number. I watched it ring, then go to voicemail. Then another. Then another. 6 calls in 10 minutes, all from different numbers. The 7th one, I answered. Stop calling. Tyler, please, stop calling. You want to communicate about Lily, you go through the attorneys. Everything else is done. I just need, what you need isn't my problem anymore. You made sure of that. I hung up and immediately called Nicole. She's calling from multiple numbers. I need documentation for harassment. I'll add it to the motion. Tyler, listen to me carefully. Do not engage with her, not once. Every time you pick up, you're giving her an opening. Understood. The hearing is Friday at 9 a.m. Be at my office at 7:30. We'll go over everything. I looked at Lily's school calendar on the wall. Friday was her class field trip to the Science Museum. She'd been talking about it for weeks. I'd miss it because I'd be in court fighting to keep her. The hearing lasted 4 hours. Judge Carmichael was a gray-haired woman in her 60s who'd seen every variation of family dissolution Austin had to offer. She listened to Nicole present the hotel receipts, the credit card statements, the security footage of Emma parked outside our house at 2 a.m. She reviewed the falsified financial disclosure, the termination letter from Whitfield and Associates, the attempted hotel booking from 3 days ago. Emma's attorney, a sharp-dressed man named Robert Lawson, argued diminished capacity due to emotional distress. He painted Emma as a woman who'd made a mistake during a period of professional burnout, who was now being punished beyond reason by a vindictive spouse. I sat perfectly still through all of it, hands folded on the table, while Nicole systematically dismantled every argument. When the judge asked if I wanted to make a statement, I kept it simple. Your Honor, I'm not here because I'm angry. I'm here because my daughter deserves stability. She deserves a parent who shows up, who keeps promises, who puts her first. For the past 5 months, I've been that parent. I'd like the court to recognize that. Judge Carmichael looked at me for a long moment, then at Emma, who was crying quietly in her chair. I'm awarding primary physical custody to Mr. Brennan, she said finally. Ms. Brennan will have supervised visitation every Wednesday and Saturday, 3 hours each session, location to be determined by Mr. Brennan. This arrangement will continue for 6 months, at which point we'll review for possible modification to unsupervised visitation. Emma's sob echoed through the courtroom. Furthermore, the judge continued, I'm ordering Ms. Brennan to undergo counseling as a condition of future custody modification. Mr. Brennan, you're ordered to facilitate reasonable phone contact between Ms. Brennan and the child, minimum 3 times per week. She looked directly at Emma. Ms. Brennan, I understand you're going through a difficult period, but your choices have consequences. Use these 6 months to demonstrate that you can be the parent your daughter needs. The gavel came down. It was over. That was 18 months ago. Emma got an apartment in South Austin and a job at a smaller firm. Less prestigious, lower pay, but stable. She completed her counseling. After 6 months, the supervised visits became unsupervised. After a year, we moved to a standard joint custody arrangement. Alternating weeks. It's not perfect. Lily still asks questions sometimes about why mommy and daddy don't live together. She started therapy herself, working through the confusion and hurt of having her family split apart. But she's okay. Better than okay, actually. Her grades are good. She still plays soccer. She has friends, hobbies, routines that make her feel secure. Emma and I don't speak unless it's about Lily. We communicate through a co-parenting app, all business, no personal details. I don't know if she's dating anyone. I don't ask. She doesn't ask about my life either. I sold the house last spring. Too many memories embedded in those walls. Lily and I moved to a smaller place near her school, with a backyard big enough for the trampoline she'd been wanting. Sometimes, late at night, I think about the Tuesday afternoon when that photo came through. How my entire life pivoted on one accidental airdrop. How if Emma had just double-checked the recipient, I might still be living in ignorance. I don't know if that would have been better or worse. What I do know is this. Trust isn't something you can rebuild once it's been shattered this completely. Love isn't enough when it's built on lies. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for everyone involved is to walk away cleanly, with evidence and documentation and legal boundaries that protect the innocent. Lily is the innocent one in all of this. Not me, not Emma. Just a kid who didn't ask for her parents to implode. I'm building a life now that's honest, if smaller. A life where I don't have to wonder if the person across the breakfast table is lying to me. Where I don't check credit card statements looking for proof of betrayal. It's quieter. Lonelier sometimes. But it's real. And after everything, real is what matters most. Last week, Lily came home from Emma's place and told me her mom had been crying. She said she misses how things used to be, Lily reported, matter of fact. I told her I miss it too sometimes, but that you're both happier now, so maybe it's okay that things changed. Out of the mouths of children. Maybe we are happier. Or maybe we're just learning to live with the consequences of choices made in hotel rooms and through carefully constructed lies. Either way, we're moving forward. That's all any of us can do. The photo is still on my laptop, buried in a folder labeled Legal Divorce. I haven't looked at it in months. I don't need to. The image is burned into my memory. Not just the picture itself, but what it represented. The moment everything I thought I knew revealed itself as fiction. People ask me sometimes if I've forgiven Emma. I tell them forgiveness isn't really the point. The point is that Lily has 2 parents who love her, even if those parents can't be in the same room without tension thick enough to cut. The point is that I know who I am now. Someone who won't accept less than honesty, even when the truth destroys everything comfortable. The point is that I'm teaching my daughter through example that you don't have to stay in situations that diminish you. That walking away from something broken isn't failure. That protecting yourself and your peace isn't selfish. She'll understand someday, when she's older. She'll see the documentation I've kept, read the court transcripts if she wants to. She'll make her own judgments about who did what and why. Until then, I'm just dad. The one who makes her breakfast, helps with homework, shows up to soccer games, tucks her in at night. The one who stayed. And in the end, maybe that's the only thing that really matters.